Hey everyone, Eggman here with another video, and today we're going to be talking about all of the blue cards from the second set of the Dragon Ball Super card game Fusion World. All of the cards have now been revealed for the set, and they've also been all added to my deck building website here on Eggman Events, which you guys can check out in the description. And yeah, we're just going to go over some of the newer cards that were revealed with the kind of mega reveal that they did earlier this week, and then also go over an example deck list for Zamasu. Nothing too crazy, but just kind of an example build, kind of where my head is at the start of it, and obviously it's going to change over the next couple weeks, but just kind of want to show where my immediate kind of head is for that. So we're going to go into that real quick and just go over some cards in general. So real quick, if you don't know what the leader does, again, it's a 1 attack and draw 1. It's awaken at 3 or less life instead of 4 or less life like most leaders, and then it's a 25k on the other side and has activate main once per turn. For 1, you can discard 1 card from your hand, and if your life is at 2 or less, add the top card of your deck to your life. So being able to spend 1 energy to heal is actually really strong. It's a little bit slow at times, potentially, but I think it's a card that, like this deck can just really go into the late game very easy. Also, being a 25k means it's a little bit trickier for you to get hit to. So I think it's kind of a pretty good defensive deck that we have. And we also have a good amount of new removal tools in blue that lets it be more of a control color compared to like the previous format in FB01 where it had probably like the worst removal in the game. Now it has at least a couple cards to kind of contend with it. So real quick, I do kind of want to mention a couple key cards quickly. They're super rares we kind of already went through. We have like the 2-drop Zamasu, which is just great. It's a 2-drop 20k. It's 5k. You get to draw 1, discard 1. Not in that order when you attack with it, and it can't be removed by skills. We also have Vegeta, which is one of my favorite cards. I don't know if it works with the Zamasu leader specifically, but if you have 7 or fewer cards in your hand, reduce the cost of battle cards in your opponent's battle area by 1. Then also on play, choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards, the cost of 1 or less, and place it at the bottom of its owner's deck. So immediately, if you have 7 or less cards when you play, it's a 2 or less. And then also the Zamasu Fuse, which I'm going to kind of focus a little bit more on the deck that we're playing today too, but being able to be a 4-drop 25k, being able to draw a card when you attack as long as you have 7 or less cards, but also when KO'd, play this card from your drop and rest mode, then you can't play Zamasu Fuse for the turn. So being able to kind of have like a weird amount of protection with this guy is really nice. And if you're able to just continually if you're able to keep playing it out and get that card draw, I think you're in a good spot too. So it's a good card. I think it's a good spot and worth kind of putting into this leader, I think, as well. So we're just going to kind of start at the low end. Some of these cards have already been revealed previously too, but we're going to go over them. First, we got My Future, which honestly, I'm really excited about this card. Just on play, choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards and reduce its cost by 1 for the turn. That's kind of big, especially if we're playing something like a like Trunks Future Leader. Being able to bounce a 4 or less into their hand instead of a 3 or less means it's quite a big difference for the deck in general. And it's a 10k and it's an Earthling, so Pilaf can recycle it and you still get the 10k counter, so I think that card is pretty good. We have the Shin, which lets us look for a Patara card off the top 5, which isn't too bad, but also we have the Zamasu, so it's a 1-cost permanent. If you have Goku Black battle card, this card can't be KO'd. And on play, look top 5 cards of your deck, reveal it to 1 Goku Black and add it to your hand, then place the rest at the bottom of your deck in any order. And I'm kind of going to go over the stuff that these guys have. So we also have this other Goku Black as the 3-cost. When attacking, look at the top 3 cards of your deck, play up to 1 Zamasu with cost of 1, place the rest at the bottom of your deck in a random order. So it's a little bit inconsistent to do it, but you can get some like free value, especially since you play the Goku Black, you find the Zamasu finds a Goku Black. That kind of recycle is really good, and it's a 10k, so not too bad. And that kind of goes in together with this fusion of power. So place 1 Goku Black and 1 Zamasu card from your hand or battle area at the bottom of your deck, draw 2 cards, then play up to 1 Zamasu fused with a cost of 4 from your hand. So that's pretty great. We get some cycle. We do kind of like lose out the guys, but it's from hand or from board, so you're not really losing that much with it. And then we get the Zamasu fused with potentially a turn earlier. This card's a little bit obnoxious to remove unless you're playing against red, which is really strong, and it's great. I don't know how consistent it's going to be to find that card, but I don't think it's terrible for what we're doing on this one. And then lastly, that's kind of like the main thing for these kind of pieces, but I think it's kind of neat for what it does. We also kind of have this weird 5-drop Zamasu Fuse, so you don't really have a way to get this out cheaper, but for 5, when KO'd, if you have 7 or fewer cards in your hand, play up to 1 Zamasu Fuse with a cost of 6 from your hand. So my only issue with this is that there's so many ways to remove this card without being KO'd that I don't know how consistent the when KO'd effect is going to be. So that's my only issue with that. But the 6 cost to get to play is really unique. for this one too. So it's a 40k crit, but also auto once per turn. When your opponent plays a battle card, if your life is at 1, choose all of your opponent's battle cards and return them to their owner's hand. So it's a pretty strong ability. It just means if your opponent plays anything without being able to remove this guy, you get to bounce it back into their hand and everything else on the board, which is really good. The other kind of weird thing, though, you do have to be at 1 life specifically. But it's weirdly also not leader locked. But you have to be at one life, and which is weird in a leader that you want to heal with as much as possible. So it's in a weird spot. You have to kind of hard play it in 6, unless you play 5-cost Zamasu Fuse and you get it KO'd. But most decks, I don't think, will be able to be doing that. They'll be either bouncing it back to hand. It's like really good against green specifically, but everything else, I think it's a weird combo for it. So I don't think it's super duper good, but I could be wrong on that one. For 6 energy, though, we could be playing the Zeno, which on play choose all cards in battle areas other than this card and place them at the bottom of their owner's deck. So that's pretty great. Also, it should, I'm just thinking about this it should be able to get rid of field cards too, because they're played in the battle area. So that's like another thing you get from this one too. As long as it's the same as Dragon Ball Super Masters, it could have been different, but I think you get that removal there too. And it's a 10k, so it's never like dead in hand either. It's just like a really good removal late game, especially since if we're trying to play this leader that, you know, is able to heal and get to the late game really consistently, the Zeno's a really good board wipe for that. It's a little expensive, but good otherwise. And then we do have just some more like Patara cards. We do also have like some extra cards like the Blades of Judgment. This one's really weird. This one's really, really weird. I'm not sure why it's worded like this. It's actually main R battle. You look at the top 5 cards of your deck, reveal up to 1 Supreme Kai in the special trait and add it to your hand, then place the rest of the bottom in a random order. I don't know why it's activate battle. Honestly, I don't know what benefit you would get from activate battle, but it's there if we need it to, which is interesting. We also have absolute lightning, activate main, choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards you place at the bottom of their owner's deck. So that's like the new like removal, which is good. It's also Supreme Kai and Patara, which means that it's searchable off the Blade of Judgment as well as the Shin, which is really nice for that. And again, if we're trying to get to the late game and be really control heavy, this absolute lightning is very strong for that too. And then lastly, we have, I think that's really it. We have the Secret Rare, which is also Patara, which means we can find it off the 1-drop Shin. I think like this is a good card to have just on the board late game. Being able to attack twice 30k is great. Being able to get a removal of a card 5 or less is very good for the deck, and I think it's an okay spot too. So those are kind of just the cards I want to talk about. We did kind of just go quickly over them, but you'll see that blue has like a lot more utility than I think it did in the previous set. Some more combos and some more removal cards. Nothing really locked to Zamasu, so all this could be run in any other leader. And I think the biggest thing is like why, you know, if we play Zamasu fused, it has to be because we have this control aspect and we're really, really good at it. So here's my example deck list real quick. And again, this is, you know, check the date of when this video came out. This could be immediately outdated for a couple reasons, but this is just kind of my thoughts for the deck as well. Also, a lot of this stuff works for Goku Black, Vegeta, and also Trunks Future. So this is not like the only way to build with FB02. I don't even know if Zamasu is going to be the best one, but I wanted to kind of go over it. So we have a lot of 1-drops in this build, and they all kind of search. We do have the Shin, but also the Gowasu, as well as the 1-drop Zamasu from set 1. This being a 10k, being a named Zamasu is good, but also being able to place something to the bottom of your owner's deck, a 1-drop is good card economy for you as well. The idea that I'm kind of running so many of these 1-drop searchers is that like late game, if we're trying to survive, if we have like 7 energy, we can play all these 1-drops that search and get us some card draw and stuff. And then if we do that, like we just have ways to like heal and outvalue our opponent late game, especially being a 25 base leader. There's just like a lot we can do with that too. So the idea is that if we have all this extra energy that we're going to be able to have over the last couple turns, we're going to be able to use it to draw cards and get like additional boosts, which is kind of nice for that. So that's kind of the idea for that one. So we have a good amount of Goku Blacks as well to be searched off the Zamasu and the Gowasu. We have the new 4-drop as well, which we didn't go over specifically in the back and the other side. But when attacking with 7 or fewer cards in your hand, choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards with a cost of 2 or less and place it at the bottom of its owner's deck. So being able to get bottom deck stuff is pretty good, and it's a 5k Goku Black. And then we have the 6-drop. I think the 6-drop's actually pretty good in this deck. It might be a little bit slow and tricky to get out of or get to the board, but being able to just have a 40k that's a little bit tricky to remove, and being able to continually play stuff for free out of our hands, I think is just worth it in its own way. So I think this is fine for what it is. You could also use Fusion of Evil Power to get it out of your hand if you have too many copies, to get Cycle and play one of the 4-drops out for free. And then also we have to discard a card for our leader effect, so it's a little bit it's okay if we have like more bricks in hand, because we can convert those into a new card into our life with our leader effect, so we can be a little bit more greedy on deck building, I feel like, in that way. So a couple copies of Zeno. We kind of have like a tight deck space with this one too, based on what we're playing. So we could play maybe a couple more Goku Blacks. We're playing a couple Blazer's Judgment too, which can I guess it can find itself, right? One card. That's really weird. But we can also use it to find a super combo now with this, because old Kai is Supreme Kai. So there we go there. I think that's useful for it. And that's kind of just how the deck I have built. There's more 1-drop Zamasus as well that we can be playing as well. We can be running the just the vanilla 15k one as well, and also the blocker. This one I'm not like too upset about running too. Like, you could use this card and you could play it off of the 3-drop Goku Black, so you play a 20k and then you have a 5k blocker because of it, so that's fine. Worst case is a 10k counter too, so I think that could be good for the deck. It just depends on what the ratios and how consistently we can play Fusion of Evil Power, and if the combo is good, right? If it's good and we can get it consistently, I think that's good. But I also, again, want to mention that none of this stuff is locked to Zamasu as a leader as well, so you could play this completely different. If you want to be like super duper control heavy, we played 2 copies of Absolute Lightning, and also we can play the Scythe. And by Scythe, I mean Sinister Sickle, which lets you activate main, choose up to 2 of your opponent's battle cards, cost of 4 or less, place them at the bottom of their owner's deck in any order. So we just have like a lot of potential for removal cards. And again, since we can use our leader's effect to discard a card to heal, we're not too afraid to have some more bricks in hand, I feel like. So anyways, this is just my first build. I'm sure it's going to change like almost immediately, but just kind of showing off what I'm thinking about the deck in general, and just kind of the idea of what blue looks like in this set. I also will probably be making a deck list going over some of the other leaders, specifically Trunks. I think Trunks has like a lot of like really good tempo advantage now, just with a combination of the 1-drop Mai that we already talked about, being able to, again, we could put a 4 or less back into hand if we want to, and this card's like a 10k, so we don't worry about it. But also, like, this Vegito works really well with it too. So we could have this Vegito out, and then we can play Mai, and then we can bounce a 5 or less back to their hand for like free, which seems really good. So there's also other stuff Trunks got as well, like the 4-drop Vegito, Vegeta and stuff. So we can go over those another time, but I think blue, compared to set 1, has a lot of neat little tools and combos that could be fun and very strong as well. So that's going to be it for this one. Let me know what you guys think about blue in this set. Let me know what decks you guys are looking forward to, and anything else regarding Fusion World. So that's going to be it. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you all next time.